We are the
The
Marriage
Marriage
Talk.
Talk.
And we are back here again to continue our conversation that we had a couple of weeks ago about the challenges of communication, right?
Yeah.
Because it's just hard for men and women for some reason to figure out this communication thing.
Right. But then here's the deal. We talked about it. We don't want to leave things open. We want to be able to close it out with solutions. And
Absolutely.
I think we continue the conversation off camera, and I think we've come up with some solutions to the problems, right?
Listen, this has wore us out, y'all. But we have literally been trying to figure out why is it that every time I want to make a decision or I go to do something and my wife says something that doesn't agree with what I want to do and how I want to do it, I take that as if she's challenging me, if she's being combative, or if she's disrespecting me. That's how most men are taking this. And men, when we don't listen to our wife's opinion, when we don't take her advice, or when we don't allow her to help us in some decisions or certain decisions, she's taking that as if we're not allowing her to help. And it's if we do not respect her opinion, or if we just don't want her advice at all.
Right.
So what did we come up with, Sunshine?
So we talked about the why first.
Right.
And you talked about leadership flowing through a man.
Yes.
Do you want to talk about that first, or do you want me to talk
Yes.
about mine first?
Listen, go ahead. Talk about the
So
wife.
we discovered, then the Holy Ghost showed us, we'll say
Okay.
that leadership is flowing through a man. That's why he
No,
acts.
let me talk about leadership.
I know,
You talk about help.
I'm trying to get there.
Oh, okay.
And that for a woman, what's in her and the way that she is wired is to help
Yes.
in every area. She's the nurturer, she's the caregiver, she's the this, she's the that. And help is constantly, continually flowing through her.
Yes.
And so then if he says something and what we hear is, oh, I can help you here. He says something else. Oh, I can help you here. And it's frustrating when he doesn't allow us to help.
Yes. So by design, people, husbands, listen closely. Our wives, by design of God's divine creation,
So-
help is running through her veins, is flowing through her body, is flowing through her brain. She is a helper. And so she's trying to help us, right?
Right.
So
Correct.
our wives are trying to help us.
That's it.
And by design, now watch this. Men are born leaders. We are made in the image of God. We have leadership in us. So when anybody else, another man, another woman, when we make a decision or when we say something and somebody says, hey, let's don't do it that way, or hey, let's do it this way, we take that as a challenge. Or if the person may feel like the decision that we made wasn't a good one.
Mm-hmm.
And by leadership and by design, we're created to be leaders.
I want to clarify something because I want to make sure our viewers understand. I'm not saying, or is my husband saying that women are just to help. That's not what we mean.
No.
That's not to say that we don't have leadership qualities. Of course we do. We lead
Yes,
homes.
you do.
We lead businesses. You got women that are CEOs. That's not what we're saying. We're saying when a woman is a wife,
Yes.
help flows through her all day
Yes.
long. She can't help it. That's who she is.
By design.
By design. By God's divine design.
You were designed to help me.
And so when you say something and I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's a great idea, but you know what? We ought to do this too. Or this could go this way. It's nothing but to help.
Let me give you a scenario that everybody might understand to see where men are coming from with that. If you work on a job, and let's just say you're the supervisor or a manager on a job. Let's just say you have a regular employee that's trying to tell the supervisor or manager a better way to perform the task on the job. So if the employee tells the manager, hey, Mr. Boss, Mr. Manager, Mr. Supervisor, I think we ought to do this differently or a better way. I think this can be done better. The first thing the manager or supervisor is going to do is say, listen, do it the way I'm telling you to do it. And if it goes wrong, then that's my fault. But now if you do it the way you want to do it, then it's going to fall back on you. So don't do it the way I want that you want to do it. Do it the way I'm telling you to do it. And so leadership is designed a certain way. Do have the leadership flowing through us. And that's why we feel challenged and disrespected. And we feel like you guys don't respect what we're saying or doing.
Okay.
Are we kind of nailing that down?
I think we're nailing it down. So let's give them some solutions now. We got the why, right? So here's some solutions to how you guys can navigate this whole communication problem.
It ain't easy, y'all. It's gonna be rough still, but we trying to get through it.
We're trying to get through
What's
it.
some of the solutions?
So now that I know that leadership is flowing through him, and he pretty much he can't help it.
Can't help it.
He can't help it.
Can't help it.
He doesn't mean anything by it when he says, "Hey, we're gonna do a certain thing." He doesn't mean anything by it. He can't help it.
Can't help
by
it.
design. That's who he is. And so now that I know this, having this knowledge, then I need to be, I need to deal with him according to that knowledge. And so now that I know that, if for me, this is my solution, and I hope this helps women. If it's something that's not that big of a deal to me, I'm not going to say anything. If you make a decision and it's not that big of a deal to me, or I feel like, for example, we used the kids the last time, and I said, well, what if the kids want to go out or something like that, and you said no? Really? It's not that big of a deal. If you said no, even if I felt like, oh, it's okay for them to go out, if you said no, it's a no, and that's okay.
Because, ladies, if you come back later on and your husband has already made a decision, and you come back later on and change the decision, he has no choice but to feel disrespected, because he feels as if you just overrode him. So if you override the boss, then where do they override the boss at? Now, if the husband is the head of the household, the head of the wife, and the head of the family, how can you override the boss? So that's why a man's going to feel disrespected. That's why he's going to feel challenged. That's why he's going to feel like you're being combative, because he's not going to want to feel like you just overrode him. But communication is going to be a key, because me and my wife discovered, I told her after we discussed this off camera, that if me and her could make that decision before I make a decision, then it's not a problem.
So that's another solution.
That's another solution. Women, before your husband makes a decision, you guys need to talk about it, discuss it, go over it. But once he makes a decision, it's going to be hard to change that.
Okay.
So we're going to pause for just a second and look at the marriage question of the day. Men, do you feel that you get the respect you deserve from your wife? Women, do you feel that you get the love you need from your husband? I want you to think about that for a moment and comment below. I also want to remind everyone that the devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He's after our marriages. He's after our health. He's after our finances. But Jesus came that we might have a rich and satisfying life. And that means successful marriages.
I need to add this in there. Ladies, listen closely. All men, not just me, not just your husband, but all men by design are created in the image of God. So because your husband is created in God's image, he automatically has leadership flowing through him. Because now this goes back to you making sure that you choose the right partner. Because if you get married to someone, you get married to somebody, they got leadership ability, even though they may not be acting like it or living like it, you still have to respect them, because by design, if you come off combative, challenging, or disrespectful, then that's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. So if you marry little Junebug and you expect little Junebug to be a great leader, by design, he's a leader. Now, he may not be working on a job. He may not even have a job. He may sit up and play video games all day. When you come home from work, he might be sitting up playing video games with the boys, smoking cigarettes and getting high. But it doesn't even matter. He still has leadership skills, and you can't tell him that he doesn't.
I don't think she's trying to tell him that he doesn't have
But you can't disrespect him either.
I think she's trying to give him some ideas on how he can better do something.
Oh no. You can't tell him, hey, little Junebug, can you get up and go get a job and help me pay some of these bills? Can you maybe not play some of these video games all day? Can you maybe take some of that time you staying out at night, and can you maybe dedicate some of that time to looking for a job? You can't tell him that.
Well, then, ladies, get rid of little Junebug. Because if you can't tell him that, you need to go ahead.
That's the problem.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because he still has leadership flowing through him.
Well, let's show the leadership.
So what he's right now, this is the problem.
Show your leadership.
He's not showing it.
Right. That is the problem.
And so You're going to work just like on the movie Baby Boy,
Oh.
and he's dropping you off at your job. He's keeping your car, and he's running all these errands throughout the day. And when he comes to pick you up from work 30 minutes late, you still got to respect him. Absolutely.
You plan on uploading this?
Because if you say anything, that is not positive, if not uplifting, then that's going to be a problem. Absolutely. I'm just letting you know. That's what it is. Hello, y'all. Another solution that we came up with, if you've known your spouse for a significant amount of time, if you guys have been married for years, nobody knows your spouse's heart more than you do, right?
Right.
So you know my heart.
Right.
And I should know your heart by now.
Right.
So instead of when my wife is trying to help me, instead of me taking it as if she's coming off combative or if she's challenging me or if she's being disrespectful, I should be looking at her heart and saying, hey, this is my wife. Maybe how she's saying this may not be the best way, but she loves me and she wants the best for me and my household. And so I have to take her heart into consideration and say, hey, she wants the best thing. And so we have to overlook and look past some of those, communication challenges and tricks of the devil. Right. The devil wants us to feel disrespected. Right. He wants us to feel challenged. He wants us to feel like our wives are being combative. And he wants our women to feel what ways?
Unloved. Very much so.
And as if we don't respect your opinion.
Right.
And as if we do not want to hear what you guys have to say.
Exactly.
And that is a big problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Communicating, that's a problem, y'all. I mean, for years.
It is.
Okay. All right. Y'all got that? Until next time.
Bye.